Good morning and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning is on the arts. The arts are fundamental to our humanity. They not only inspire us, but foster creativity, goodness, and beauty. The arts help us express our values, build bridges between cultures, and bring us together regardless of ethnicity, religion, or age. The Black Arts Think Tank is an umbrella organization for several African American arts groups here in Milwaukee, and here to tell us more about it is Mrs. Barbra Wanzo, Executive Director of the Black Arts Think Tank, and Mr. Dwight Hamilton, a musical director with the African American Children's Theater. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Thank you.
I appreciate you both being here. And Barbara, let's start off talking about the Black Arts Think Tank and how it came into existence.
There were three of the founding organizations that came together: Kothi, Fern Cocker Bronson of Kothi Dance Company, Constance Clark of African Americans Children's Theater, and Diane Wilkins of Hansberry Sands Theater Company got together maybe 2-3 years ago and began talking about how they can help their organizations to survive. They watched the unfortunate demise of other African American institutions and wanted their legacies to continue into the future, and they wanted to know how to do that. And then they also saw the trend of decreased funding coming out of the economic recession, and so they knew they wanted to control their own destinies, and they knew they had to do something about it. And so they began talking about that. And as fate would have it, through a sequence of events, they met Corey Nettles and Barbara Lawton and began even deeper discussions, and out of that came the concept of the Black Arts Think Tank.
I love that. And you house these three organizations that together share more than a century of history here in the city. So quite obviously you would want to be able to preserve that and continue to give back to the community what they've been getting over the years. Talk about the importance of consolidating these administrative and operational functions.
Well, the whole point of consolidation is to, help the organizations to survive into the future. That means not having 3 different bookkeepers, hiring 3 different marketers, et cetera, really becoming more efficient and streamlined in operations. But also, these 2 of the 3 are founding artistic directors, and like any small business, trying to do it all, trying to manage a board, trying to manage the artistic product while running a business. Very difficult to do. And they knew that it was very important to find the synergies among the organizations. And so I like to tell people that the Black Arts Think Tank is part financial life jacket, part community arts connector, and part business consultant. It's kind of an easy way to describe it. But our collaboration with the Marcus Center for the Performing Arts has enabled us to consolidate downtown and be present where the arts happen in this city. And we love that. But it also gives us an opportunity to meet in a central place and plan and work through the process of integration that we've been working on all year.
Yeah, and you mentioned that we've seen a number of small organizations kind of go away due to financial scenarios. I can think off the top the African American Holocaust Museum, and then there was City Ballet. Like those were extraordinary entities, and like you said, they're now no longer in existence because of finances and things of that nature. So I think that this is a wonderful concept in helping to preserve what all of these organizations have to offer. I do not want to forget about Mr. Hamilton. Now you, as I mentioned, represent the African American Children's Theater, which has been around for 26 years. Can you tell us more about the organization?
Well, yes, the African American Children's Theater is just for that. It's an organization for children to get engaged in the arts. It started Constance started this, I believe, back in 1989 as a family project, and it has grown into something that I like to think that is truly wonderful, because we have nurtured some really wonderful talent, some kids who have gone on to do some very interesting things, let's say. If I may be so bold to say so, one of our alums from the African American Children's Theater is Rico Love. In his biography recently, he mentioned that he's got his start in the African American Children's Theater by reciting Langston Hughes, and I remember that very well.
Wow.
And we have some other students. Toni Martin, for example, was a member of the African American Children's Theater, and she was recently in a Broadway-nominated play, a Tony-nominated play on Broadway.
That's wonderful.
So the African American Children's Theater gives children an opportunity to express themselves through art. Now, although I just mentioned some of the alums who have gone on to do some national things, it is not geared just for that. If children take away from the African American Children's Theater the discipline, the self-esteem, the work ethic, they can apply that to all aspects of their lives. And it just so happens that many of these children go on to do some remarkable things in other areas of living.
Yeah, and that's an excellent point that you bring out, because so many times we're hearing that the arts are being taken out of the schools, and how many times do I sing along with a song that's a classic that I learned in music class that I never would send in the clowns and all of those type of songs. But talk about the importance of children being exposed to the arts.
Well, just as I said, it gives children the opportunity to develop self-esteem.
Yeah.
We get some very shy individuals sometimes, and then we got some very undisciplined children at times. But when they find that it's okay to be different, they really take in what we have to offer them, because we do give them this opportunity to be expressive, to feel a sense of accomplishment by doing something that they might have thought was a little weird. Just yesterday, for example, in rehearsal, it always tickles me when when I do something and a kid does something really silly and they make this wonderful sound, and I say, yes, yes, yes. And they say, really? Yeah, that was a good thing. Well, now they're going to do that all the time. Something, I might have to shape it and tone it down a little bit.
But you've given them that confidence.
I've given them that confidence to do that, and they love that. And that's what an education through the arts will do for you. I'm sure that you probably were involved in the arts at some point in your life, weren't you?
Always in dance, absolutely.
Oh, see?
Yeah,
A wonderful
I danced,
example of that.
And yeah, you're right, because I started off cheering for my church, and then I danced for in my elementary school, then middle school, then high school, and college, and then I went on to be an NBA dancer. So you really never know how far those things can take you, but I never had formal dance. So it's those type of scenarios that kind of shape you.
And something else that the arts do for you, they make you a better person.
Yeah.
They really do. You experience things differently. You feel that it's worth living because of the art.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I mean, it's something to look forward to. I think that when people have plans to go to the theater or even whatever the case may be, it's exciting because, especially when you talk about the live theater, because
Right.
when I'm watching people perform on stage, I am in awe by the fact that they are doing this flawlessly. You know, it's no cut and do it over again. And what you see is what you get, and I admire that so much from performers. You do have free after-school classes, and you partner with Milwaukee Public Schools. So I just want to mention that, so parents who are watching can definitely give it some thought to this being one of the organizations their kids can be a part of.
Definitely. The African American Children's Theater has a partnership with the Milwaukee Public Schools. Students can get involved by contacting, or their parents contacting the theater, and I think you're going to have that number.
We'll put that number right there on the screen, 414-324-9821.
Correct.
Or they can log on to your website at aact.us. So you quickly were running out of time, so I wanted to mention you have a major musical production that's coming up in May of 2016, and I'm just guessing you have something to do with it as the musical director.
A little something. I always love the challenge of putting together kids in a production. This production will involve the 3 different sites that we service, the MIAC Center, where kids come, and Oliver Wendell Holmes Elementary School, and Elms Creative Arts School.
Okay.
We're preparing for a major production with our focus on friendship and cooperation and just really, well, there are going to be a lot of positive things in it. I just want to say it's all about positivity. It really is. More details for that will be coming. I don't want to let everything out of the bag just
Well, we've
yet.
got plenty of time for you to kind of tease us along the way till May of 2016.
May of 2016.
So sounds good. Barb, there is a huge concern about the support of the arts in general. The Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce Task Force, they recently called for new public funding to help cultural assets like the Milwaukee Art Museum, the County Zoo, the Public Museum, as well as the Marcus Center for the Performing Arts, which you mentioned is where you are housed. So what can people at home do to better support the arts?
Well, probably the easiest thing is to, if they're able to lend their financial support, but it can be other things as well. You know, for example, the Black Arts Think Tank is looking for storage for their member organizations. These small arts organizations are paying through the nose to store sets and things like that. We are looking for volunteers and interns, so there's a lot that people can do.
Okay, that's good to know. I never would have thought of that. So if people have any questions about anything that you've talked about thus far, where can they contact you?
They can contact me at 414-270-4494.
Sounds good. And before we completely run out of time, just wanted to have Mr. Hamilton tell us about these teen mentors that you use from the Milwaukee High School for the Arts. I mean, when you talk about them matched up, helping younger children, it really does give them that extra boost to know that this is something they can look forward to as well.
It does. It gives them this extra push. Sometimes I want to say that the teen mentors seem to have a little bit more influence than I do because the kids are closer in age to them.
That is always the case, right?
They look at this jolly old man in front of them, but then they look at the cool teenager. Oh, the cool teenager is doing this, so it must be okay. And that's really the reason for their presence there, to give them a role model, give them a picture of how you should behave in this situation. And I actually love it because, as I said, they'll pay attention to the kids, to the teenagers, a little bit more than they will with me.
Yeah.
Now the trick is getting the teenagers all excited.
That's right.
But I have a few tricks up my sleeve.
I'm sure you do. I'm loving all his personality. I love it. I love it. So I thank you so much for coming by and sharing with us information about the African American Children's Theater. And Barb, I'd love for you to stick around so that we can find out more about what's going on in the near future that our viewers at home can be a part of. So thank you both, and we'll be right back. Dwight Hamilton is a musical director with the African American Children's Theater. You can again call 414-324-9821 for more details on anything that we've discussed today. And when we return to Our Issues Milwaukee, we'll continue our conversation about the Black Arts Think Tank and meet the director behind a classic production that's perfect for the holiday season. We'll do that right after this.